Welcome to the Harnessing Happiness podcast. This is the Happy Clappy soundbite.
Hello and welcome to Harnessing Happiness with myself, Sarah J Naylor. Thank you so much for dropping on by and taking time to listen to my podcast. Today, I really want to talk to you about aligning your talents and your passions with your career. This is something that I'm really passionate about, and it's something that I've been passionate about for decades, if I'm brutally honest. The seed was really sown back when I left school and I had my careers advice. And I say careers advice, it really wasn't any advice at all. I was given a book to read and that was about it. But I really sort of kind of followed my flow. And in doing so, I found myself with a job in cartography originally, and then demonstrating computer graphics in London. And then I ended up in recruitment because it was something I recognised, having registered with recruitment agencies, of a job that I thought I would be interested in. And as such, it's something I'm still in. I have my own business now, and that's 34 years in. But I recognised from the off what it was that I saw in that role that appealed to me, that felt right to me. And as I say, I followed my flow, and all of my career changes along the lines were when I recognised that I needed to make a change, and opportunities presented themselves to me, and I ended up doing what I wanted to do. And all the time from when I left school, and actually, if I'm brutally honest, even when I was at school, that I recognised that children at school, I say children because I was a child at the time, I was in my teens, if you recognise what it was that you enjoyed doing, you'd be more likely to apply yourself to your studies to get the qualifications that you needed to end up doing that career that you were interested in doing from an early age. But sort of really fast forward, having spent so long in recruitment and qualified as a coach and worked as a coach and sort of really embraced my spirituality, I understood the power of following your flow and being in alignment, and how that impacts your health and your well-being. Because the thing with recruitment that I've seen over the decades, over the years, is people who have entered jobs because you kind of end up falling into stuff, or you're told this is a career for life, or you need to go to university, you need to study this because that's a really good job. But if you're not happy doing it, it's not going to make you well. You're going to get ailments that manifest because you're out of flow. You've got blockages in your energy flow. And so I've always wanted to, and even through all my years in recruitment, I've never been, as people used to introduce me as, Sarah, she's not your typical recruiter, because I've always wanted to listen to what people want, career-wise, or what employers are looking for, to make that match as perfect as possible. Because I think, if you're in the right job, you're happy. And if you're doing something you enjoy doing, that happiness radiates into your life as well. That impacts on all of those around you, because we're all energy. We're all just atoms vibrating at a frequency that creates the physical form that we're in. But coming back to your career, the more you can connect with what you're really interested in, where your flow is, the better. I mean, there's always going to be a career aligned with your talents and your passions, your interests, and what it is that makes your heart sing. But sometimes it's finding that, and through working as a coach as well. It's interesting that not everybody really does know what sparks them up, but that's the beauty of working as a coach, because you can identify that and you can reflect that back to somebody. And I love helping people really connect with that inner fire, that inner spark that's within them, and enabling them to make that career change, that shift, and make that happen. Because we can all do that. We can do it at any stage in our life. And the more we are in alignment with our true self, our true purpose, we can fulfill our potential. So, just taking that time, which we don't do. How many of you really do take time to think about what it is you truly love doing? You probably spend more time deciding what kind of car you want, what kind of handbag you want to buy, what kind of house you want to live in, what kind of wallpaper you're going to put on the walls, than you ever do about reflecting back on yourself. Who are you? What do you enjoy doing? What do you like doing? Who do you like being around? There are so many questions that I ask when I work as a coach, and that I ask the reader in my book, which is Shining a Light on You, How to Manifest Your Dream Job, and my online course, manifest your dream job. These questions I ask because I want the reader, the student, the people I'm working with to think deeply, because if you identify that, you can start to shift. You may have had a career in one area, but once you realise that it's not right for you, you can use, there's so much that you've learned that you can shift that's transferable. But it's understanding how you can make those moves then into that chosen career, that direction you actually want to go in, and how you can gain experience and who you can connect with and how you can make that change happen. The stories that there probably are many that you've heard with people during lockdown who have left jobs that they were in and started to do something different, and they've not gone back to the jobs that they were in previously because they weren't happy, and they've had this opportunity to bring about change. A really good friend of mine has now become a yoga teacher. It was something that she had started to train in whilst she was employed. Then she was furloughed. Then she was made redundant, and it was a scary time for her. And I'm sure she won't mind me saying. And it's been a challenge, but she's actually doing something that she's really passionate about now, and she's becoming a very successful yoga teacher with her classes selling out, which is just absolutely awesome. And she's now in flow. She wasn't really ever happy doing the commute that she had been doing to work and the hours that she was spending at work as a result of not then wanting to get back into the commuter traffic on the way home and doing very, very long hours. This is what happens when we take that time to make these changes. I'm still working recruitment. I've had my, I love it. I don't love it anymore. But I actually, when I get into it, I love it. I still love that connection with my clients and my candidates and pulling the two people together and finding, as I have just recently done for a new client, their unicorn. He wanted to find a Romanian speaking office manager, which he felt was, a difficult one. He said, I want to find a unicorn. I found him his unicorn. And that's just, I'm going to use this word, it was magical, just being able to find somebody. But, I love my coaching and I love my podcasting. So I feel very fortunate. I'm very lucky, but I have created those opportunities for myself on a self-employed basis to be able to navigate my own career and have income coming in from different streams because of what I do. That is open to all of us. We can all do whatever it is that we want to do, even if we feel that we can't. I was just reading today about somebody that's in my network who was a stockbroker who's just written her a blog for this year. That's why it's sort of fresh in my mind, that she'd been in stockbroking, come out of it, been self-employed for 3 years, doing something holistic therapies, I think maybe, but then ended up back into it because of the sort of the in inverted commas comfort zone of having a good salary, pension plan, etc. and so on and so forth, but then having to do all the mum stuff in alignment with working and living and being in a man's world. And ultimately her health was beginning to be affected and she came away from it. She's now making it work again as working self-employed, but pulling in, working with women sort of financially, which I think is great. So she's really sort of following her flow. It's available to all of us if we choose to make it available. If you want to do something that's different or, follow your flow, we can do it. We can make it happen. We can really align ourselves with our talents and our passions and make those changes and live a happier, healthier life as a result. And one that is wealthy, wealthy in its richness of being able to do what we want to do. You see, there's this illusion that money is the answer. And yes, look, money's an energy. It's what we use to exchange our time for money that we can then exchange that money for somebody else's time or experience, etc. But it's not necessarily all about chasing the money. It's where we're happy. The happiness comes from within, and the happiness comes from being in alignment with who we are and our true purpose. And then we flip on to the valuing ourselves. And that's where, the money can come back in to us from a different direction. But it's not about chasing the money specifically. It's about being happy, because then everything else falls into flow. But it's being happy and valuing yourself to boot. Anyway, that's my Happy Clappy 10-minute episode over and out, because I could spend all day talking about this. But it is something I'm really passionate about. I hope that passion has come across to you, and take time to think about what it is that you're passionate about. What fires you up? Does your job fire you up right now? Are you in alignment? If you're not, what does fire you up? And how can you start to make those small steps towards the change that you would like to bring about in your life? So I will talk about this more as the year progresses. So do please subscribe or follow, because there's going to be lots more episodes like this, along with my guest episodes, of course, as well, with lots of wisdom and inspiration. So please do, as I say, follow, subscribe. It's free. Why wouldn't you? And rate and review so we can spread this happiness globally, which I say it already is spreading globally, but let's do more of it. So great stuff. Thank you very much for listening. This is me signing out. Thank you for listening, and take care and enjoy the rest of your day, whatever it is that you're doing right now. Take care. Lots of love. Bye.
That was the Happy Clappy soundbite. Hear full-length episodes of the Harnessing Happiness podcast, released every Tuesday. And for more exclusive content from Sarah, just visit sarahjnaylor.com.